Who's next? I misjudged you. You are like us after all. Now you're just being nasty.
Welcome to the Metal Gear Rising: The Complete Story. Today, we're going to be discussing all of Raiden's history and the Metal Gear Rising game series. This series is going to be 3 episodes, with the first episode telling you Raiden's history during Metal Gear Solid 2 and between Metal Gear Solid 4. The second video is going to take place during Metal Gear Solid 4 up until Metal Gear Rising, and the last video will finally give you the Metal Gear Rising storyline plus its DLC. So I hope you guys are ready to find out just how Raiden went from being a sissy little girly man to the ultimate badass cyborg ninja. So let's get started. All information gathered is from the Metal Gear Wiki and our experiences playing the game. By the way, I liked Metal Gear Rising. Attack dogs, go! Okay, here we go. Raiden was originally Jack, a child soldier in the small boy unit. He was exceptionally cruel to his victims and used his innocent-looking face to lure people in for the kill. This earned him the name Jack the Ripper. He became such a legend that Solidus noticed him and took him in as a pupil of sorts. It was after this civil war ended, traumatized and turned into a sheer killing machine by all the death and destruction that he had seen, that Jack was sent by Solidus to a relief center. Solidus was hoping that they could reform him and make Jack a normal child and let him lead a normal life. But the relief center was worried about placing him in with a foster family due to his obviously problematic nature. You know, you can't have a little kid killing their foster family. Without Solidus' knowledge, the US government took Jack, and under a program started by the Patriots, had nanomachines placed into his cerebral cortex. They chose him over the other child soldiers because of the fact that Jack hated his past. This would allow the nanomachines to manipulate his memories better, because with Jack trying to forget them, it made the job of the nanomachines easier. As time would go on, Jack would grow up suppressing his memories of his terrible past with the assistance of those nanomachines. Eventually, he would join up with the US military, and due to his exceptional skills, be drafted into a special task force. It was there that he participated in over 300 virtual reality simulations. After all of this training, he decided that the life of this task force was not for him, and he transferred to Fort Hamilton in New York City. It was here that Jack would fall in love with Rose as they met in an argument over the movie King Kong. While they would grow closer, at the same time, Jack suffered from multiple PTSD-related problems and refused to open up to Rose. He wouldn't even sleep next to her at night as he felt he might hurt her in his sleep. This would lead to multiple arguments and fights between them. But all of this was a ruse by the Patriots so that they could use Rose as a spy to try and get into Jack's life. The goal of this was to manipulate his life from the inside. As time would go on, Jack would find himself recruited into the supposedly reformed Foxhound, a special operations unit that actually no longer existed. His first real mission was the Big Shell incident, and it is here that he receives his official codename of Raiden. At this point in the story, we're going to officially call him Raiden from this point on. So remember, Jack equals Raiden. During the Big Shell incident, Raiden was being tested by the Patriots AI system to see if they could recreate the situation that had created Solid Snake. Moving to the more important facts, Solid Snake is also conveniently on this boat, and Olga captures Raiden, and then eventually frees him secretly. Raiden learns the reason that she did this was that she was being told what to do by the Patriots AI, but she didn't actually want to capture Raiden, and she wanted him to stop the Patriots AI. The reason she was doing what the Patriots wanted is they had kidnapped her child shortly after she gave birth. Boy, that sounds very similar to what happened to the boss and her son Ocelot. For more information on that, you should go check out the Boss and Ocelot videos that we finished off a little while ago. After Olga freed him, Raiden began to make calls to Rose, and they made amends. He began to reveal why he was so distant, explaining to her his child soldier past. He also explains that he feels that he was selected by the Patriots AI for this particular mission because of his connections to Solidus Snake. As the mission continues, it's revealed that the Colonel that's been giving all the orders to Raiden, you know, Colonel Campbell, is not the real Colonel Campbell, the one that we know from Metal Gear Solid 1. He's actually a VR construct being used by the Patriots to direct Raiden where they need him to go to become their version of Solid Snake. Once Raiden figures out that Colonel Campbell isn't the real Colonel Campbell and it's all a VR simulation messing with his head, he begins to think that maybe Rosemary isn't real and that them making amends wasn't a real situation. This begins to bring him down and he begins to feel very depressed that he hasn't actually made amends with Rose. But after some reassurance from Solid Snake, Raiden continues to believe that Rose is the real Rose. After many fights with a ton of Metal Gears, seriously, he fights like 25 of these things, Raiden passes out from sheer exhaustion, only to be rescued by Olga again. In a final confrontation with Olga, Solidus, and Raiden, it is revealed that Olga has been a double agent against Solidus this whole time. Solidus then angrily kills Olga. Her final words to Raiden as she dies are simply, "Live." Sorry, I can't do a girl's voice. Solidus' plans are foiled by the virus implanted by Solid Snake and Onagon at this time, and the Arsenal gear crashes into Manhattan. It is here that it is revealed to Raiden that he is merely a puppet of the Patriots, and the entire situation is an attempt to recreate Solid Snake through a carefully crafted mission. But since I said it earlier in this video, we already knew that. But this is where Raiden figures it out. Raiden tries to struggle against the last of the AI's directives, to kill Solidus, because he doesn't want to do it. He wants to prove that he has actual free will and will not do what the Patriots tell him. But for the sake of his and Rose's unborn child, and Olga's child, he does what is necessary and kills off Solidus. After a fierce battle involving swords, Raiden prevails, and angry over being a puppet, he goes to Solid Snake and offers to join Snake's group to fight against the Patriots. But seeing that Raiden has some unfinished business and a child on the way, Solid Snake tells him to go finish his personal affairs first. Raiden returns to Rose, where they both decide to ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after. After the Big Shell incident, though, things got worse again. It was during this time that Raiden became obsessed with the HF blade weapon since he used it to finish off Solidus. Through his weapon obsession, he began to study Japanese swordsmanship and trained himself in the samurai code. Eventually, the tragic memories of his childhood became too much again, and he decided to leave Rose. What further fueled his decision to leave was the fact that he was led to believe that Rose had had a miscarriage. He wandered the world until he tracked down Big Mama, also known as Ava back in the day. He exchanged the knowledge of where Big Boss's body was being kept for the knowledge of where Olga's daughter Sunny was being held. He felt as though he owed one to Olga after she lost her life saving his. He mounted a rescue operation and ultimately he rescued the young girl. Feeling happy about himself for succeeding at this, he decided to try and return to Rose. But at this time he found out that Rose got married to Colonel Campbell. With this news, Raiden became very depressed, and he left Sunny in the care of Onagon and Snake anonymously. It is here that Sunny would grow up with Snake and Onagon and eventually spend many days and hours with Naomi. After this, he wandered the world again, training in scouting techniques and learning to hunt in Alaska, and eventually joining the operation to recover Big Boss's remains. It is here that he finds himself captured by a division of the Patriots. Taking advantage of Raiden being their prisoner, they conducted massive experiments on his body and eventually removed everything from his lower jaw down and replaced it with an exoskeleton. They would call his new body an enhanced synthetic body, but basically he just kind of became a cyborg ninja. After being rescued, he went through extensive surgery to remove the nanomachines and the damage done to his body, but it was so extensive that he could never lead his normal life again. It was due to this that he decided to leave his old life entirely. But how did he help Snake as a ninja? And how did he get back with Rose eventually? And how did he become the star of his own kick-ass action game? Guess you'll have to wait to the next video to find out. After Raiden, we're going to be hitting up one more bonus video about the Patriots, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're also about to end our Resident Evil coverage and our Kingdom Hearts coverage and move into the bonus episodes on that series. We're also going to be hitting up some more games, like Halo, Assassin's Creed, Pokemon, and Mario. And don't forget to check out our other series that we started, Lore Meets Reality, where we see how things within video games are possible. Some of them funny, such as becoming the mayor of an animal town, and some of them scientifically crazy, like could Liquid Ocelot exist, or maybe stem cells in Bioshock. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. I tweet a whole lot of crap on there, some of it spelled completely wrong.